My beloved child, listen to me in the deepest place of your heart. There is an email blinking, a call you have not returned, a message waiting to be answered, and the weight of expectation is pressing you to respond now. But before you reply, come back to my voice. Do not let the sound of the clock or the tone of a manager or the lure of a salary become the master of your next step. I still speak to you, not through forceful noise, but through a gentle voice that leads you forward without panic and protects you from paths that drain your life. This moment is not only professional, it is sacred. This choice is not merely about tasks and titles. It is stewardship of your peace, your calling, and your future. I want you to see what is actually at stake, not just a position, but the person you will become while you carry it. Therefore, slow your breathing, loosen your shoulders, soften your jaw, and let your soul remember who holds you. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. I am not pushing you through a narrow gate of fear. I am leading you along a path that I have measured for your feet. As it is written, your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. My voice is the steadying beneath your feet, the calm within your chest. Before you answer any person, answer me with your attention. Sit in the chair of my presence and let the moment be redefined by my peace. Ask the question that will guide this entire journey. Does this assignment bring peace, or does it drain you into confusion? Does it guard your heart like a sentinel, or does it stir your stomach with restless spinning? My beloved, intensity is not authority. Urgency is not wisdom. Not every door that swings open was opened by my hand, and not every flattering invitation is a faithful assignment. I do not blame you for wanting to resolve the tension quickly. I know the ache of uncertainty and the itch to make the pressure stop. But, beloved, a precious garden must have a holy fence, and in this moment, that fence is peace. If peace does not stand at the gate, watchful and unwavering, you are not required to step through. As it is written, the peace of God, which surpasses understanding, will guard your heart and mind. Philippians 4:7. I am not asking you to be passive. I am training you to be led. There are sounds that seem very soothing yet carry no life. Promises that sparkle yet leave the soul thin. Presences that excite the mind yet cannot keep the night watches with you. My voice does not exhaust you with guessing games. My voice causes you to stand firm after the emotions have settled. Therefore, do not reply from pressure. Do not answer while your heart is loud. Let the waves quiet so the seabed can be seen. Then choose as one who knows they are being shepherded, not chased. As it is written, I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Bring the message, the offer, the timeline into the light of my presence and breathe. I will not rush you past the wisdom that protects you. Wait until your spirit settles into me, until the first witness of peace is present, until you can hear your name spoken without strain. Then and only then begin to discern. Walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now name the weight you are carrying, because vague pressure becomes a tyrant when it is not brought into my light. Say it plainly in my presence. I feel the rent coming due, the bills stacked like unkind witnesses, the student loans that do not sleep, the care for those I love, the expectation of family who wonder when I will finally arrive, the fear that if I do not take this, I will be trapped where I am, the dread of regret, the ache of falling behind while others seem to surge ahead. I hear you. I see not only the numbers, but the story your heart is telling about those numbers. I do not blame you for caring about provision or reputation or responsibility. I made you to steward well, to provide, to build, to bless. A heart that loves to carry others is not weakness. But beloved, anxiety is not your master, and fear is not your shepherd. You feel time like a hand on your back, pushing. You feel identity like a scoreboard, blinking. You feel the gaze of others as if it were judgment instead of curiosity. You wonder, if I say no, will I never be asked again? If I say yes, will I lose myself? You have been taught by the world that urgency equals importance and pressure equals destiny. But hear me. Urgency is not always truth, and intensity is not authority. There are winds that blow fiercely yet carry you nowhere. There are flames that impress the eye yet give no warmth. My voice is not the rush that empties you. My voice is the steady that fills you. Therefore, I am not quieting your anxiety to make you careless, but to make you clear. Not to make you reckless, but to make you free. Not to make you passive, but to make you precise. Not to make you slow for slowness' sake, but to train you to move at my pace. I am separating the noise from the note, the alarm from the announcement, the fear story from the truth I am speaking. You are not being led by fear, you are being trained into clarity. Breathe with me and remember who you are. You are mine before you are employed. You are called before you are compensated. You are held before you are evaluated. A salary may measure hours, but it does not measure your worth. A title may describe tasks, but it does not define your identity. What I have placed in you does not rise and fall with a quarterly review, nor does it vanish if you choose a path others do not understand. As it is written, I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Receive that as the seal upon this moment, power to choose in truth, love to guard your motives, and a sound mind to discern beyond the fog. Now, beloved, place each weight into my hands deliberately. Say, here is the bill, and hand it to me. Here is the pressure to perform, and hand it to me. Here is the fear of regret, and hand it to me. Here is the family's expectation, and hand it to me. Here is the worry that I am late, and hand it to me. Watch what happens when you refuse to let these voices sit on the throne of your decision. The fog thins, the ground appears, the breath returns. For anxiety constricts, but my presence expands. Fear narrows your vision to the problem, but my peace opens your eyes to the path. Do not confuse my stillness with absence. I am not wringing my hands over timelines. I am not threatened by deadlines. What is truly from me does not need to be grabbed in panic. It can be received in peace. What is counterfeit shouts, now or never. But what is holy can stand one more prayer, one more night, one more counsel sought. I am not making you slow so that provision passes you by. I am making you sure so that confusion does not come inside your gates. A precious garden must have a holy fence, and today that fence is discernment anchored in peace. I know how your past has trained you to transact with fear, to bargain with it like a master. If I hustle enough, maybe I will be safe. If I please enough, maybe I will not be overlooked. But I am teaching you a new covenant of the heart. You do not negotiate with fear. You dismiss it from leadership. You can hear your emotions without hiring them as counselors. You can feel urgency without marrying it to your identity. Therefore ask, does this thought make my chest tighter or my spirit steadier? Does this offer whisper that I will be someone at last? Or does it affirm that I already belong and will be sent with purpose? Does it lure me by rescuing images or lead me by the peace of being led? Beloved, come under my verdict before you step into theirs. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not one misstep away from losing what I have ordained. You are one yielded moment away from seeing clearly. Let me put my hand upon your shoulder and guide you, not by dread, but by wisdom. Anxiety may arrive like a storm, but it has no authority in my house. I am teaching you to listen for the low, sure river of my peace beneath the surface. From that river you will answer, not to prove yourself, not to silence your critics, not to outrun a phantom clock, but to walk in the assignment that keeps you whole. Stay with me here until the pressure becomes a guest rather than a ruler. Stay until you can say, I am loved, therefore I am not hurried. I am sent, therefore I am not sold. I am guarded, therefore I am not grasping. Then, when you rise to reply, your words will not be the echo of anxiety, but the soundness of a heart kept by me. Walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now we will practice. Slow the moment so that truth can speak. Do not let the heat of the hour become the author of your answer. When possible, delay your reply. Create a sacred pause. Minutes if you only have minutes. Hours if you can take hours. A night if you may. Step back from the inbox, set the phone down, walk out beneath the open sky or into the quiet room, and let your breath return to you. This is not avoidance. This is allegiance to my voice over the voice of pressure. A holy pause is not procrastination. It is protection. When you pause, you give your spirit permission to hear the lower, truer river beneath the surface storm. You allow peace to rise and confusion to settle. You allow what is flashy to fade and what is faithful to remain. Say to those awaiting your response with calm dignity birthed from me, thank you for the opportunity. I will consider this and reply by time. And then come to me. I do not require you to justify the pause to anyone. I ask you to use it. For what is truly from me is never allergic to time. It is not frightened by prayer, not resistant to counsel, not offended by a measured, thoughtful heart. Time is the friend of truth because time exposes both fruit and motive. This is the time test. What is from me will not fray under the light of one more prayer. What is from me will not warp because one more question was asked. What is from me will not disappear merely because you slowed down to seek my face. If a door slams when you request a night with me, if a recruiter cools because you ask for clarity, if an offer sours because you desire counsel, hear this wisdom. That was not your door. That was not your table. That was not your bread. The bread I give can withstand the blessing. The path I lead can wait for the lamp to be lit. Beware the trap I now expose to you. Counterfeit doors demand immediate agreement, as if wisdom were betrayal. Counterfeit doors demand immediate loyalty, as if holy boundaries were disqualification. Counterfeit doors demand immediate silence about your concerns, as if questions were disobedience. They say, sign now, don't think too long, don't ask around, don't bring anyone else into it. If you hesitate, you'll miss your chance. That is not my voice. My voice says, come, let us reason together. My voice welcomes clarity, invites light, and blesses boundaries. My voice gives you the right to ask, what will this require of my soul? What will this ask of my family? What will this do to my worship? My voice makes room for peace to guard your heart like a sentinel at the gate. Therefore, practice the holy pause in simple steps. Sit down. Breathe slowly. Name the offer aloud in my presence and place it on the table between us. Write what attracts you. Write what troubles you. Then pray out loud. Even if your voice trembles, Lord, if this is from you, let your peace guard me. If not, let your light expose what my hunger is trying to call provision. Speak it again. Wait for your breathing to agree with your words. Do not force an answer from your feelings. Allow my peace to answer your feelings. Invite wisdom to sit with you. Reach out to the voices who love me and love you, who are not impressed by titles nor threatened by your freedom, who will celebrate holiness over hurry. As it is written, in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Safety, not because many voices are always wiser than one, but because humility is wiser than pride. Share the facts without spin. Share your hopes without shame. Receive correction without offense. Watch how peace behaves in the presence of counsel. Does it deepen or does it flee? But what if the opportunity passes while I pause, you ask? Beloved, what is truly mine is not lost to the night of prayer. If a door is from me, it will still be standing when morning comes. Or if it closes because I, who see the end from the beginning, have guarded you from harm you could not yet see. Trust me with time as you trust me with outcome. Seeds do not grow because you shout at them. They grow in silence beneath the watch of sun and dew. Your decision is a seed. Give it the silence in which truth can take root. Use the pause to listen for how the offer speaks to your identity. After the first rush fades, is your heart brighter or heavier? Do you find yourself imagining boundaries that will keep you whole, or compromises you will have to hide? Do you sense room to grow clean, or pressure to perform at the cost of your soul? The pause makes these questions audible. The pause takes the glitter from counterfeits and leaves only substance. The pause allows the guard of peace to take his post and the fog of flattery to lift. And when you re-enter the conversation after the pause, return as one kept by me. You may still be waiting on full clarity. That is enough for now. What matters is that you no longer answer as a hostage of hurry, but as a steward of holiness. Ask for what you need to see. Request details in writing. Clarify expectations around time, rest, and integrity. If the environment blesses your boundaries, take note. If it punishes them, take note. What receives your peace is a signpost. What resents your peace is a warning. Beloved, hold this as a banner over your process. A holy pause is not procrastination. It is protection. It protects you from being sold to your own hunger. It protects you from being captured by another's timeline. It protects you from confusion that drains and from commitments that corrode. I am not rushing you. I am leading you. Slow the moment and let truth speak. Then walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now let me set the guard at the gate. Peace is not an accessory to your decision. Peace is the sentinel I have stationed at the entrance of your heart. He stands with clear eyes and steady hands. He is not impressed by titles, not moved by salary, not flattered by praise. He is loyal to me alone, trained to recognize the sound of my voice and the scent of my will. He checks the credentials of every invitation, and he does not yield to pressure. Therefore, do not try to walk past him as if he were ornamental. Do not negotiate with him as if he were optional. If peace will not stand watch over this decision, you are not required to step through it. Understand what I mean by peace, beloved. Peace is not numbness that refuses to feel. Peace is not denial dressed as optimism. Peace is not the avoidance that buries questions under busyness. Peace is the inner steadiness born of my presence, the wholeness that remains when the first rush of excitement fades, the clarity that endures when adrenaline goes quiet. Peace does not erase appropriate concern, but it keeps concern from becoming a tyrant. Peace does not guarantee that a road is easy, but it assures you that a road is clean. Peace is a witness. You hear it and you know. I am not being chased. I am being led. Therefore, ask me in the place where you and I speak without pretense. When you imagine saying yes, does your chest unclench or tighten? Does your spirit settle or scatter? Does your breath deepen or turn shallow? When you picture yourself at that desk, in that environment with those people, does your conscience feel bright or braced for compromise? When you sleep on it, does rest arrive? Or do you wake agitated, rehearsing explanations you would have to make to justify what you already sense is wrong for you? When you picture saying, I will need boundaries here, Do you feel the courage of being kept by me or the dread of being punished for asking? These are not small impressions. They are signals from the guard I have placed at your gate. Hear me explain the difference so you are not fooled by counterfeits. Confusion is noisy, obsessive, spiraling. It spins imaginary conversations, floods your body with hurry, and hijacks your attention into endless scrolling and compulsive checking. It makes you feel supervised by fear and starved of prayer. It says, decide now, but it cannot answer. Why this and why now? It drains you into a haze where you cannot see your own name clearly. Peace, by contrast, is clear, steady, and clean. It lets you name costs without panic, weigh realities without self-accusation, and ask questions without shame. It does not make everything simple, but it makes you simple, whole, gathered, not divided against yourself. Peace returns you to yourself in me. As it is written, the peace of God, which surpasses understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. And again, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Beloved, the word guard is not poetry only. It is practice. Let peace stand like a watchman at the threshold and say, this may pass, or this must remain outside, or this is good, but not for now. Let it rule, not as a soft suggestion, but as a governing verdict. I am not asking you to worship a feeling. I am directing you to honor my presence. The peace I give is not the sedative of apathy. It is the authority of alignment. You may ask, what of the peace that is only a retreat from risk? That is not my peace. That is fear in a quiet costume. My peace is not allergic to responsibility, not hostile to growth, not threatened by honest work. My peace does not silence your conscience. It sharpens it without accusation. My peace does not pull you away from people or worship or truth. It knits you more deeply to me and makes your love wiser, your yes cleaner, your no kinder. As it is written, I am not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Test the guard in time. After the pause, when you gather more facts, does peace thicken like a strong root, or does it keep slipping away so that you must chase it with rationalizations? When you expose the offer to counsel that reveres me, does peace expand, or does it contract until you are left with defensiveness? When you state your boundaries out loud, honor for rest, commitment to integrity, devotion to family and worship, does peace nod and stay, or does it lift and leave? My peace is never offended by light. Counterfeits often are. And listen to this with care. Sometimes excitement will be strong at first, and that is not sin. You are human, and hope is beautiful. But after the sparkle settles, truth speaks. Does the deep place in you still feel held? Can you imagine beginning not as a beggar gripping at a lifeline, but as a steward entrusted with an assignment? Can you see yourself walking onto that ground without negotiation in your soul, because nothing essential to your holiness has been priced away? If you can, you have found the first witness. If you cannot, be brave enough to honor what you know. I do not move you by panic. I lead you by peace. Therefore, practice answering to the guard. Say within yourself before you sign anything, peace, are you at your post? If the sentinel answers with calm and stays, then you may proceed to the next tests I will teach you. If he is absent, do not climb the fence to take what is not protected for you. You are not required to explain this to everyone who loves hurry. You are required to keep your heart. As it is written, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Beloved, I honor your desire to do right. I bless your longing to provide and to grow. Yet the first test is not the applause of others, not the numbers on a page, not the shine of a title. The first test is the guard at the gate. Let peace rule. If it will not, wait. If it returns and remains, walk forward. If it refuses and departs, release the door and call it mercy. Walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now that peace has taken his post at the gate, come with me into the orchard of outcomes. Do not ask only, what does this offer give me today? Ask, what will this work grow in me tomorrow and the day after and in the years to come? For every path carries seed in its pocket, and what you plant with your yes will not remain seed. It will become a tree that will shade your days, feed your household, and shape the landscape of your soul. I am not only sending you to a paycheck, I am guarding who you are becoming. Look past the shine of title, the number on the line, the applause in the moment, and look into the harvest that will rise from daily routines, unseen pressures, invisible cultures that will touch you over time. As it is written, you will know them by their fruits. Matthew 7:20. Therefore ask me plainly, and do not be afraid to hear the answer. What will this make of you? Will you become more prayerful or more prayerless? More honest or more hidden? More present to your family or more absent even when you are in the room? More awake to my presence or more numb by the end of each day? More courageous in truth or more proficient in pretending? More generous in spirit or more brittle and guarded because your soul is starving? Beloved, opportunities sometimes disguise bondage by offering relief for one fear while planting 10 others. A door can promise security and yet demand your silence. A role can offer influence and yet require you to trade away your voice. A salary can calm a bill and yet invoice your conscience every night. The fruit test exposes these trades before you make them. So ask, will this environment reward integrity? Or will it train me to massage truth until it is manageable? Will this pace still allow a Sabbath, or will it enroll me in Pharaoh's school, where bricks must be made without straw, and rest is treated as rebellion? As it is written, my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Matthew 11:30. My burden is not light because it is lazy, it is light because it is clean. Learn the difference between stretching and breaking. Growth will stretch you. I will call you into challenges that strengthen your courage, sharpen your skills, and widen your love. But I do not call you into arrangements that hollow you, where laughter becomes rare, prayer becomes rushed, and truth becomes negotiable. Stretching builds capacity and then leaves you sturdier. Breaking bleeds out your center and leaves you thin. Stretching makes you tired sometimes, yet thankful. Breaking makes you busy always, yet increasingly empty. Stretching teaches you to rely on me more. Breaking tempts you to rely on numbing more. Therefore, test it. After the first month imagined, do you see yourself more rooted in me, or primarily more skilled at surviving what dulls you? Consider Daniel at the king's table. He was offered delicacies and proximity to power, yet he discerned the fruit and kept himself from defilement, choosing a way that looked lean but yielded wisdom, favor, and strength. Daniel 1. Consider Samson, who loved what flattered his appetite. The fruit was blindness and bondage. Judges 16. Consider Lot, who chose the well-watered plain for its surface gain. The harvest was strife and rescue by mercy, not blessing by design. Genesis 13-14. These are not ancient curiosities, they are living patterns. The test is the same. What will this make of you? Do not call the absence of compromise idealism, as though holiness were naive. Holiness is the most practical wisdom because it preserves you for longevity. Ask deeply practical fruit questions. Will I still have a table where bread is blessed and eyes meet nightly? Will there be an honest stop to my day? Or will I live in a permanent twilight of unfinished tasks? Will my friendships deepen, or will my conversations become only transactions? Will I be free to tell the truth when it is costly? Will worship be guarded or treated as optional over time? Will my body be honored with sleep and movement, or will I outsource comfort to substances and screens? And ask about the fruit in those around you, for cultures reveal themselves in what they grow. Do those who carry this work become kinder or sharper in ways that wound? Do they age into wisdom or into cynicism? Do marriages around this role flourish or fracture? Do children remember a parent who was present or only a shape passing doorways at odd hours? I am not shaming hard seasons. I am exposing consistent harvests, trees after their kind. Beloved, what this soil grows in many, it will try to grow in you. Here is a holy diagnostic that will serve you. Whenever a role requires you to shrink what I made large in you, truth-telling, compassion, worship, rest, justice, faithfulness, know that you are standing before a system that cannot host your calling without demanding a tax on your soul. To enter, you would have to pay with pieces of yourself, and that is too expensive. I have already purchased you with a price. 1 Corinthians 6:20. You are not available for piecemeal. And yet, do not fear challenge. Some assignments will stretch you into early mornings and new learning curves and courageous conversations. This is good fruit training you for stature. The question is not, is it hard? The question is it holy? Hard plus holy yields maturity and joy. Hard plus unholy yields erosion and secrecy. Hard plus holy deepens prayer. Hard plus unholy normalizes prayerlessness. Hard plus holy bears love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, the fruit of my spirit, rising in difficult soil. Galatians 5:22-23. Hard plus unholy bears hurry, harshness, hiding, and hunger that never feels fed. Therefore, beloved, stand in my presence and prophesy your own fruit with me. Speak it out. If I say yes here, I will become. And let your mouth tell the truth your soul already knows. If the sentence fills with words like truer, kinder, freer, wiser, braver, more worshipful, more whole, then listen to that witness. If it fills with words like thinner, angrier, quieter in conscience, louder in pretense, absent, numbed, then do not sell your future to fix your present. I am your present and your future. As it is written, a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Therefore by their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:18-20. I am not only sending you to a paycheck, I am guarding who you are becoming. Walk with me here until the harvest is clear, and then choose as one who knows that my desire for you is not only provision, but transformation into my likeness with ever-increasing glory. And when you choose, choose in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now let us come to the altar of purity, for here many bargains are struck in the shadows, and many hearts grow weary without knowing why. Hear me. Provision that requires you to betray your purity is not my provision. I do not hand you bread that asks for your integrity in exchange. I do not open a door that demands your rest, your marriage, your church life, your clear conscience as the toll to pass. If an offer asks you to fund its urgency with pieces of your soul, it is not a gift from my hand. Name the hidden trade before you sign your name. Are you being asked to exchange Sabbath for just this quarter? Are you being invited to exchange truth for the story that sells? Are you being urged to exchange presence with your family for the grind that proves you're loyal? Are you being asked to exchange worship for availability that never ends, prayer for performance that never sleeps, conviction for culture fit? They will offer applause like currency, urgency like morality, promises like perfume. But listen under the fragrance. Is your conscience being taxed? Is your center being rented out to hurry? Is your holiness being priced into the contract as an optional add-on you can remove? Beloved, a precious garden must have a holy fence. I gave you tenderness so you could love, but I also gave you a gate so you could guard. Not every demand deserves access to you. Not every request is righteous simply because it is loud. Not every urgent email may cross the line into your night. Not every expectation may plant itself in your calendar without permission. Guard the entrances, steward the exits. Say within yourself, I am a garden, not a public road. I am a temple, not a hallway. As it is written, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Beware the subtlety of compromise, for it rarely arrives shouting. It comes with just this once. Everyone understands. We'll fix it later. Don't be difficult. Be a team player. It comes as leadership that flatters you as family to overrule your boundaries as an employee. It comes as meetings that creep past the edge of your day and then treat your no as disloyalty. It comes as unclear expectations that promise freedom while quietly obligating you to be always on, always reachable, always bending. It comes as pressure to agree without clarity. We don't have time to write that? Trust us. We'll sort that detail after you start. Verbal is enough between us. Counterfeits live in the fog. Truth loves the light. Therefore, ask these clean questions in my presence and do not apologize for them. What specifically am I being asked to do that my conscience cannot bless? What, in detail, are the hours, the stops, the guardrails? Who holds power to move the boundaries and by what process? How will integrity be honored when it costs? What practices protect rest, family, and worship here? If answers are evasive, if clarity offends them, if written agreements are resisted, hear me. The request is not only for your skill, it is for your silence. I give you language as armor that does not wound. Let your words be calm, firm, and unashamed. Say, I need this in writing so we can steward expectations together. Say, I need time to pray before I respond. Say, for my health and family, I will not be available after time, barring true emergencies that we have defined together. Say, I am not available for that, without adding a long explanation you do not owe. Say, I will not represent what I do not believe is accurate. Say, my weekly day of rest and worship is essential. I will guard it. Say, please clarify who approves overtime, travel, and scope changes. Truthful words are not combative. They are clarifying light, and what is well-intentioned will welcome them. As it is written, the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. James 3:17. Do you see the order, beloved? First pure, then peaceable. Peace that is bought by impurity is not peace from me. It is sedation before sorrow, and again, abstain from every form of evil. 1 Thessalonians 5:22. I am not asking you to live suspicious of all people. I am training you to recognize the price tags attached to invitations, so you do not purchase chains thinking they are keys. Remember Joseph when he was pressed in secret to trade purity for proximity. He answered, How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. Doors shut around him for a time, but I was with him, and the path I wrote for him could not be erased by his refusal to betray his integrity. Remember Daniel, who drew a line at the table and later at the window of prayer. His no did not end his story, it preserved it. These patterns speak. When you protect purity, you are not shrinking your future, you are safeguarding it from rot. If, when you set these holy fences, the offer cools, the faces harden, the opportunity dissolves, do not call my protection rejection. Do not grieve as if favor has fled you. It is favor that has found you. A door that cannot stand the weight of light would have collapsed beneath you later. A table that punishes boundaries would have fed you bread with splinters. Let it go and call it mercy. What is from me will not require you to hush your convictions to keep your chair. And if the environment honors your boundaries, puts clarity in writing, agrees that rest is righteous, welcomes your voice when truth costs, and blesses your devotion to me, take note. Purity does not fear documentation, manipulation does. Purity does not despise your family, exploitation does. Purity does not sneer at worship, idolatry does. You are not difficult for guarding what I made holy. You are faithful. You are not disloyal for asking for light. You are wise. Therefore, beloved, hold this line within your heart. I will not trade away what keeps me whole to keep what is not mine. I will not pay with my conscience for the semblance of security. I will not buy applause with silence. I will not sell Sabbath for speed. I will not exchange worship for wages. Provision that requires me to betray my purity is not my provision. Keep your heart with all diligence. Let the holy fence stand, and walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now come close and let me place another guard beside peace, the counsel that comes from my presence and from the wise whom I have given you. There are moments when what stands before you looks aged with authenticity, sounds persuasive with practiced humility, and smells like destiny because urgency has perfumed the air. Yet hear me, do not let the theater of appearances sign your name. Do not repeat Joshua's mistake. Remember the story. Strangers arrived to Joshua with cracked wineskins, torn clothes, dry and moldy bread, and a rehearsed tale of long travel. They presented themselves as harmless and far away. The leaders tasted the provisions. They observed the props. They listened to the speech. And they made a covenant. But there is one sentence that explains the error and preserves you from it. As it is written, they did not ask counsel of the Lord. Joshua 9:14. The deception succeeded not because Joshua was foolish in war, but because he was hurried in discernment. He consulted the bread, but not the breath. He read the sandals, but not the spirit. He made a lasting yes without first kneeling where clarity lives. Beloved, this pattern repeats in modern dress. Worn sandals become polished resumes. Moldy bread becomes sleek slide decks. Rehearsed speeches become flattering interviews where they say, your name just right, and mirror your values with practiced ease. The urgent deadline becomes a countdown clock, sliding across your inbox. We need an answer by end of day. This is a once-in-a-lifetime window. If you hesitate, we must move on. The pressure feels like providence. The polish feels like purity. The praise feels like favor. But intensity is not authority, and rehearsal is not righteousness. Therefore, before you reply, ask counsel of me. Come into the quiet where no recruiter can reach and lay the offer on the table of prayer. Say, Lord, is this from you for me now? Not only is it good, but is it yours for this season? Wait long enough for adrenaline to leave the room. Listen not for arguments, but for alignment. Let peace speak, and then ask me to uncover what is hidden by performance and packaging. As it is written, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives liberally and without reproach. James 1:5. Ask me for wisdom and do not be ashamed that you need it. Wisdom is not an emergency flare, it is a way of walking. Then, beloved, ask counsel of the wise who know me and who know you. Not the chorus that will cheer any risk because it is shiny, not the echo that always prefers safety because it is familiar, but those who love your soul more than your status, who have seen your patterns long enough to recognize when you are choosing from peace or from pressure. As it is written, in an abundance of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Bring them the details without dressing them up. Say the parts that make you proud and the parts that make you pause. Invite them to ask you questions you would rather skip. Let truth test the story you are telling yourself. After you pray and after you seek counsel, check the details again with a clear mind. Urgency shrinks fonts. Clarity enlarges them. Favor says, "We will put it in writing." Flattery says, "We do not need to complicate this with documents. You can trust us." Favor says, "Take the weekend. We want you to be sure." Flattery says, "Decide tonight. We cannot wait." Favor says, "We honor your boundaries and your worship. Tell us what you need to remain whole." Flattery says, "You are the only one who can save this. If you do not bend, we all suffer." Do you feel the difference? Favor produces peace and clean specificity. Flattery produces haste and dependency. Test the voices that speak to you with questions that pull fog into light. What do they call your caution, wisdom, or resistance? Do they welcome your mentors into the conversation or attempt to isolate you with praise? Do they celebrate the questions that guard your holiness, or do they label them red tape and unspiritual? Do they give you references you did not request? Current employees who are honest about costs as well as gains? Or do they curate only success stories like advertisements? Does the timeline flex to make room for prayer, or is the clock always the master? As it is written, your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. My voice is not allergic to time. Do not be afraid to return with clarifying requests after counsel. Write the email that says, "Please confirm these boundaries in the agreement." Make the call that asks, "Can we define emergency and who approves scope changes?" Propose a trial period with evaluative checkpoints. Suggest including a Sabbath clause that acknowledges your day of worship and rest. Watch their response. The righteous are not nervous in the light. Only counterfeits are. If details collapse under clarity, let them fall and call it mercy. And hear me, clarity is not a luxury for the leisurely. Clarity is obedience. When you wait to hear me, when you invite wisdom to test your impulses, when you adjust timelines to align with truth, you are not delaying success. You are honoring lordship. You are saying with your calendar what your mouth says in worship. You lead, I follow. Do not sign what you have not prayed through. Do not obligate your future to a promise you have not exposed to counsel. Agreements bind, therefore bind yourself only where light has examined the knots. If, after prayer and counsel, peace stands at the gate and the details hold steady in the light, then proceed to the next test without fear. If, after prayer and counsel, the flattery loses power and the offer shrinks to its actual size, and you see misalignment you could not see before, be grateful. I have spared you. If all you discover is that you need more time, ask for it. Time is a servant of truth, not its enemy. As it is written, they did not ask counsel of the Lord. Joshua 9:14. You will not repeat that mistake. You are learning to be led. Therefore, beloved, walk slowly enough to hear me, and humble enough to ask others who love me and you. Let favor, not flattery, open your path. Let clarity be your worship, and let your signature be the amen that follows my voice. Walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now let us enter the inner room, where no recruiter can speak and no timeline can shout, the small chamber where your motives breathe. I come not to accuse you, but to free you, not to scold you, but to separate truth from noise. I know the currents within you, the ache to be chosen after seasons of being overlooked, the hunger to prove you were worth believing in, the impulse to outrun a grief that lingers at the doorway of your mind, the urge to quiet insecurity with achievement so loud it drowns the whisper of shame. I know, and I do not condemn you. I hold your history with tenderness, yet I will not let your history steer your future, for I am teaching you to be sent, not to be seen. There is a difference, beloved. To be seen is to hand the reins of your joy to applause, to let mirrors and metrics decide your worth for the day. To be sent is to rise from my presence with an assignment steady enough to carry you when the crowd forgets your name. To be seen requires constant performance to secure your seat. To be sent requires constant obedience to the one who already gave you a seat at his table. To be seen escalates your pace until you are living on fumes to protect an image. To be sent roots your pace in me until you are living on grace to fulfill a calling. Therefore, test this opportunity at the place of motive. Ask these clean questions with me, and do not fear their answers. If no one applauded, would you still want this? If the title disappeared but the work remained, would peace remain with it? If the pay were equal to what you have now, would you still feel drawn, or does your desire evaporate when the number shrinks? If the path to this role involved 2 years of hidden faithfulness without public recognition, would you remain faithful, or is your hunger primarily for quick visibility? If those you wish to impress could never know about this assignment, would your joy be the same? These questions do not shame you. They unmask the throne in the room so you can seat me there again. Hear me clearly. Ambition is not your enemy when it is yoked to my purpose. I gave you drive to build, to steward, to multiply what I entrust to you. I delight in excellence and reward diligence. But obsession is bondage. It steals sleep, shrinks relationships, and sells your soul for speed. Success is not evil. It is a gift when it follows righteousness. But identity bound to success becomes a yoke that will chafe you bloody. I do not want you yoked to outcomes you cannot finally control. As it is written, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Matthew 6:33. Do you hear the order? Kingdom first, then addition. Not addition first, hoping righteousness will catch up. Bring your fears to the light while we test. Name them without poetry. I fear being ordinary. I fear time has passed me by. I fear proving my critics right. I fear being poor. I fear disappointing those who invested in me. I fear being alone with my grief if I do not drown it in busy. When you speak these aloud before me, they loosen their grip. When they remain unnamed, they dress themselves as destiny and drive you to accept yokes I did not shape. I am not shaming your fears. I am shepherding them. I am reminding them that they are not your master. As it is written, God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Remember Saul, whose hunger to be seen eroded his ability to be led. His sacrifices became showpieces and his obedience became negotiation. 1 Samuel 13-15. Remember David, anointed yet willing to wait, who would not seize a throne by spear, but received a throne by timing. He was sent rather than self-promoted. 1 Samuel 24. Remember John, who said, a man can receive nothing unless it has been given to him from heaven. John 3:27. These patterns protect you. When you know that what is yours comes by sending, you do not grasp, you receive. You do not panic when doors pause. You remain faithful until I open them with clean peace. Let us also test the subtler motives that wear righteousness like a cloak. Are you choosing to escape a hard conversation where you are? Are you choosing to avoid repentance that would heal you if you stayed? Are you choosing so that certain people must finally see that you made it, or so that certain wounds will stop speaking? Beloved, I will heal your wounds, but do not hire a job to silence a pain that only my presence can touch. Work makes a good altar when I send you. It makes a cruel anesthetic when you send yourself to avoid the operating table of truth. Here is your practice. Hold the offer in one hand and lay your other hand upon your chest. Say, I belong to you, therefore I am free to wait, free to ask, free to say no, free to say yes without proving anything. Tell your soul, I am already chosen by God. Therefore, I do not need this yes to choose me for me to be valuable. When belonging is settled, desperation loses its argument. When you are no longer trying to be chosen, you can finally choose wisely. Now listen for peace again. Imagine the work stripped of spotlights and hashtags, received in secret as service to me. Does peace remain and even deepen? Then you are moving from sending, not from being seen. Imagine the work announced loudly but lived without me. Does anxiety return, clouded by fantasies of validation? Then you are moving from hunger to be seen, and you must step back into the holy pause. As it is written, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 6:21. Let your treasure be my will, and your heart will settle. If, after this testing, desire remains but is quieter, cleaner, less about proving and more about serving, then take note. I may be sending you. If, after this testing, the urgency falls apart when the audience leaves the room, call it mercy. A counterfeit motive was ruling the moment. If all you discover is that you need me to heal a place before you can answer, then wait with me. Healing is part of calling. Therefore, beloved, stand in your sonship, your daughterhood, your already chosenness. Seek first my kingdom and my righteousness in this decision. Order before outcome, motive before movement. Let your yes be worship, not performance. Let your no be obedience, not fear. Let your wait be trust, not avoidance. And walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now let us weigh this offer against time, for calling is not merely what you do, but when you do it with me. The question is not only, is it good, but is it mine for this season? There are gifts that destroy when opened too soon, and paths that become prisons when entered too late. I am not only Lord of places and positions, I am Lord of seasons. As it is written, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Therefore, before you reply, ask with me, what time is it in your soul? What time is it in your family? What time is it in the work I have assigned to your life? There are seasons of planting when the ground looks unimpressive and the work feels hidden, when you are sowing study into soil that does not clap, sowing faithfulness into routines that few notice, sowing repentance that fertilizes future fruit. In planting seasons, I make learners, not celebrities. I bury seed so it can become more than a seed. Do not despise classrooms with no spotlight. They are the rooms where your roots learn the shape of truth. If an offer draws you to harvest before you have grown roots, peace will step back and breathe gently. Wait. In planting, a right assignment often looks like apprenticeship, not arrival, like a role that stretches you safely, not a crown that requires you to fake what you have not become. There are seasons of building when I stabilize what has sprouted, rhythms strengthened, structures set, teams formed, boundaries reinforced. Building requires steadiness more than novelty. It requires agreements that do not shift with every wind. In building seasons, peace is a quiet yes to what is consistent, aligned, and clarifying. A good offer in a building season is one that honors the scaffolding we are erecting together. It fits your family's cadence. It respects your worship. It fortifies, not fractures, the work I have already begun through you. There are seasons of pruning when I remove so that you may bear more. When I cut branches you liked because they were stealing strength from what I am actually blessing. In pruning seasons, additions will often feel heavy, even if they are shiny. Your spirit will sense that more is not mercy. Then the faithful response is not to grab another project to prove you are not shrinking, but to agree with me as I refine your focus. If this offer expands your life in directions I am trimming, peace will not stand watch at that gate. Do not call the lightening of your load a loss. Pruning is protection. There are seasons of passing through when your tent is up and your stakes are shallow, when I move you like Israel under the pillar, resting when I rest, rising when I rise. In these transitions, I may assign you to a short road, a temporary task, a bridge rather than a destination. You will sense peace for a time-bound yes with clear edges, a contract, not a covenant, a hallway, not a home. In passing through seasons, do not turn hallways into houses with long commitments you cannot keep. Let the work be what it is, a passage to shape you for what is next. There are seasons of waiting, which the world calls wasting, but I call strengthening. Waiting is not idleness, it is alignment. In waiting, I mend tendons beneath the surface. I braid courage back into hope. I reintroduce your heart to silence until you hear me in it again. In waiting seasons, even good opportunities may feel like noise around a whisper, and peace will say, "Not yet," because your soul is being rethreaded. Waiting is not fear if it is done with me. Waiting is worship that trusts my pace. Consider Joseph, who dreamed of leadership but first learned stewardship in Potiphar's house and integrity in prison. If he had ascended when he first felt ready, he would have ruled with wounded haste. But when the time came and Pharaoh called, his preparation had become wisdom fit for a famine. Genesis 39-41. Consider Moses, zealous in youth, yet formed in Midian. His strength detoxed of self-saving impulses until the bush burned and timing met obedience. Exodus 2-3. Consider Esther, positioned in a palace she did not choose, who waited, fasted, and entered at the hour set for courage, for such a time as this. Esther 4:14. Do you see, beloved? The place was real, the purpose was holy, but the power was released in time, not in panic. Therefore, hold this practice with me. Name your season before you name your answer. Say, "Am I planting?" Then I will choose roles that teach me and leaders who will correct me. Say, "Am I building?" Then I will choose assignments that strengthen what we have set, not scatter it. Say, "Am I pruning?" Then I will decline what divides my focus and embrace holy reduction. Say, "Am I passing through?" Then I will accept with clear timelines, written boundaries, and open hands. Say, "Am I waiting?" Then I will not barter rest for rush. I will keep the altar warm and my ear near. When you do this, you will notice how peace changes shape with purpose, sometimes as a green light, sometimes as a guardrail, sometimes as a gentle hand on your shoulder, holding you here until the hour is ripe. Test the offer by timing. If they require a forever where I am offering you a season, ask for a pilot, a review point, a defined term. If they honor that, pay attention. If they press you to pledge what I have not asked, step back. If everything is excellent but the start date tramples a promise you have made, to your family, to your church, to your recovery, to your education, then believe me, not yet can be sacred. Some doors are true, but only for after the harvest. Some invitations are tests to reveal your discernment, not destinations to reveal your name. Ask these questions with me and with your counsel. What word have I spoken over this year? What fruit am I guarding right now? What weakness am I strengthening? What debts of attention must be paid where you already are? Does this assignment align with these answers? Or does it raid the very field I told you to tend? Do not be afraid of the answer. I will not punish you for choosing in time with me. And hear me once more. The same opportunity may carry different answers across seasons, because I am moving you from glory to glory. A role that was a no when you were planting may become a yes when you are building. A platform that was a yes in ascending season may become a no in a pruning season, so that love, rest, and holiness do not suffer. This is not confusion. This is choreography. I am not fickle. I am faithful to your becoming. Therefore, beloved, test this offer by assignment and by hour. Ask not only, is it good, But is it mine for this season? Let peace not only open doors, but also schedule them. Walk slowly enough to recognize whether I'm handing you a seed, a brick, a pruning knife, a walking staff, or a chair beside the fire to rest. Then answer from the season I have named and walk in peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now let us speak tenderly about the doors that close, about emails that end with "unfortunately," about calls that cancel what you had already begun to celebrate, about roles that shrink beneath you without your consent, about layoffs that arrive like storms you did not predict. I see the way your breath catches. I see the lists you had begun to write. I see the calendar you had already begun to color with plans. I am not indifferent to that ache. Do not shame your tears. Let them speak. I am near to the brokenhearted. As it is written, the Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Psalm 34:18. Grief does not mean you lack faith. It means you loved, you hoped, you entrusted. I do not rebuke you for that. I gather your tears and remind them of their purpose. Yet hear me with comfort that corrects the lie that tries to take root. Do not call my protection rejection. A closed door can be my hand on your shoulder, steering you away from hidden harm. Some departures are answers to prayers you forgot you prayed. Some empty spaces are rescue made manifest. Some endings are the removal of chains that had become invisible because you had learned to function while wearing them. When I close what you thought you needed, I do not leave you standing in the hallway without light. I am the one who holds the key of David, who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. Revelation 3:7. If I have shut, it is to shepherd you. Consider the many shapes of closure you have known or feared. The layoff that names budget while your heart hears failure. The rejection that folds your resume and returns it. The offer that is rescinded after you testified to my faithfulness. The unexpected demotion that feels like a public rewriting of your worth. Beloved, I will not minimize that pain. I will hold you through it, but I will also speak to it so that it does not rewrite your identity. You are not your title, not your inbox, not your supervisor's decision, not the algorithm's preference today. You are mine. Your calling was not extracted by a policy. Your future was not canceled by a signature you did not control. Let the first word over your loss be belonging, and the second be listening. Mourn, then listen. Breathe with me and ask, what was that role requiring me to ignore in order to remain? What fruit was withering quietly even as my metrics sparkled? What promises to my family, to my body, to my rest, to my worship, to my health were being taxed beyond righteousness? What subtle compromises had begun to feel normal? What parts of your voice had grown quiet to keep the peace of a system that did not have peace to give? Do not interrogate yourself with cruelty. Inquire with me as a physician of the soul. Let truth answer gently. Often what you name in this listening will reveal why I let the door close. Not because you were unworthy, but because your worth is too high to spend in that way any longer. As it is written, every branch in me that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. Pruning is not punishment, it is preparation. The gardener cuts not because he is angry at the branch, but because he can see where life is blocked, where energy is being stolen by shoots that look lively but do not lead to harvest. I will not leave you tangled in what keeps you busy but barren. When I prune, I am protecting capacity for fruit you have not yet tasted. If you were demoted, pause before you call it defeat. It may be a divine downgrade from vanity to vitality, from significance theater to significance in me. If an offer was rescinded, do not drape yourself in humiliation. Wrap yourself in wonder about what trap I tripped before you stepped in it. If you were laid off, Do not baptize despair with the name realism. Let hope ask what I am freeing you to learn, to rest, to rebuild, to become. Remember Elijah by the brook Cherith. I sent him there and I fed him there, and then the brook dried up. 1 Kings 17:7. The drying brook was not a verdict on Elijah's calling, it was a summons to the next assignment. Remember Paul, forbidden by the Holy Spirit to speak in Asia at a time he thought was right. The no of the Spirit was not rejection. It was redirection toward Macedonia, where doors and hearts opened. Acts 16:6-10. Remember Abraham and Lot, the separation that looked like loss to the polite eye but became a clearing for promise to be seen without strife. Genesis 13. Separation is often preparation. The wilderness between doors is not wasted. It is where I train your ear to know me beyond environments that rewarded you for noise. Do this with me as a practice of holy recovery. Place the letter, the email, the meeting summary on the table of prayer. Say, Father, I thank you for what you gave me there, and I release what you have taken. Bless what can be blessed without pretending that injustice was just. Forgive where needed so that bitterness does not hire you as its spokesperson. Speak truth, set boundaries, pursue appropriate redress, if it is righteous and wise. But do not let vengeance steal your sleep. I am your vindication and your provider. As it is written, look at the birds of the air. Your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? Matthew 6:26. Your provision is not married to that payroll. Your future is not chained to that org chart. I am still the one who sends manna you did not predict and opens wells you did not dig. Then, after mourning and listening, ask for the fruit that this pruning is designed to grow. Ask for rest without shame. Ask for friendships that had been neglected while you chased another fire. Ask for study and skill the previous pace would not allow. Ask for holiness where compromise had numbed you. Ask for courage to take smaller, truer steps that align with the season I have named. I am not wasting this valley. I am deepening your roots in water you cannot see. You will come out steadier. You will come out truer. You will come out knowing how to say no to what dazzles but drains, and yes to what seems humble yet heals. And if the ache rises again, as it will in waves, come back and let me place my hand on your shoulder again. Hear me say, this way. Feel how peace returns when you stop rehearsing the rejection and start rehearsing my faithfulness. I closed a door to keep your heart from being traded away for applause. I closed a door so your ears could hear me again. I closed a door because love, rest, purity, and calling needed room to breathe. Do not call my protection rejection. Lift your eyes, beloved. New mercies meet you in the morning. We will walk the next path together, and peace will go before you as a guard at the gate of your heart. My beloved child, now hear me as I place a sword of peace in your hand. Permission to refuse. Not every invitation deserves your yes. Not every promotion is alignment. Not every open door is opened by me for you now. If the tests we have walked through have revealed misalignment, if peace will not stand watch, if fruit turns bitter under the light, if purity would be taxed, if counsel has warned, if motives were mixed, if timing is off, then your no is not rebellion, it is reverence. Your no can be worship when it protects the work I assigned to your life. Remember Nehemiah. The wall was rising, the gaps were closing, and with the finish line near, enemies sent invitations that sounded reasonable on their face. Come, let us meet together on the plain of Ono. It was a calendar invite with hidden knives. Nehemiah discerned the plot and answered with a sentence that has guarded the faithful ever since. I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and go down to you? As it is written, Nehemiah 6:3. They asked 4 times, He gave the same answer. When accusations rose like smoke and intimidation whispered that his reputation would suffer, he prayed, "O God, strengthen my hands." Nehemiah 6:9. Holy refusal protected holy focus. Learn from his boundary. Notice what he did not do. He did not enter a back and forth to convince manipulators who had already chosen their posture. He did not descend from his post to explain motives to those committed to misunderstanding him. He did not barter attendance for favor. He did not apologize for doing the work he had been given. He named the assignment as great. He named the cost of distraction, and he remained at his post. This is how you refuse in a way that preserves peace. Brief, respectful, clear, with your eyes on the wall I gave you to build. Here is your practice for a peace-preserving no. Keep it short, keep it clean, keep it kind. Refuse to explain beyond what stewardship requires. Say, "Thank you for the invitation. After prayer and counsel, I'm unable to proceed. I must remain faithful to the work already entrusted to me." Say, "This is not the right alignment or season for me." Say, "These boundaries are non-negotiable for me, so I will decline." You do not owe your lifeblood to flattery. You do not owe your Sabbath to pressure. You do not owe your integrity to a timeline you did not set. When pressed for reasons, repeat your boundary, not your biography. As I shared, I won't be able to proceed. Do not bargain with guilt. Do not decorate your no with apologies you do not owe. Truth does not need makeup to be beautiful. You fear the consequences of refusal, that they will call you difficult, that future opportunities will vanish, that you will be punished by silence or slander, that your income will wither, that your name will be dimmed. Hear me. I am your provider, not the approval of strangers. I am your shepherd, you shall not want. Psalm 23:1. I open and no one shuts. I shut and no one opens. Revelation 3:7. Favor is not fragile when I have decreed it. Reputation rooted in obedience does not collapse under rumor. The fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. Proverbs 29:25. You do not need everyone's agreement to obey me. You need my voice and the courage to keep your feet where peace stands. If they withdraw warmth when you will not yield boundary, believe the revelation, not the regret. Their favor was contingent on your surrender. Better to know it now than to learn it after you have made covenant with your exhaustion. If they threaten to move on, let them move. What is yours by sending will not demand your soul as collateral. If they mock your devotion, rejoice quietly. Your devotion is working. If they imply you are ungrateful or proud, lay your heart before me for examination, and if peace remains, keep building. Remember, beloved, Nehemiah's no was not against people but for purpose. He was not defending an ego. He was defending a God-given assignment. So are you. There will be times when love asks you to give a reason to those who love you truly. Offer that reason gently. There will be times when wise counsel suggests adding clarity for the sake of closure. Provide that clarity without campaigning for agreement. And there will be times when the best stewardship is silence after a clean no. Do not cast pearls of discernment before appetites that have already concluded. As it is written, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything more opens the door to manipulation. Matthew 5:37. Write this boundary line on your heart and, if you must, in your calendar where you will see it each morning. I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6:3. Whisper it when the email pings again. Whisper it when the call comes a fifth time with a sweeter tone. Whisper it when your own insecurity tries to bargain against your peace. Whisper it when night imagines missed futures and the morning reminds you of the wall rising steady under your hands. Your refusal is not withdrawal from calling, it is allegiance to it. Therefore, beloved, if you must say no, say it as worship. Say it with the dignity of one entrusted with a wall that protects a city. Say it with the calm of one who knows their provision is not a hostage of haste. Say it with the tenderness of one who values people but values obedience more. Then turn your face back to the stones I have given you to set, to the team I have given you to love, to the family I have charged you to guard, to the altar I have asked you to keep burning, and walk in peace, the peace of one who did not come down, because they knew what they were building and who assigned them to build. My beloved child, if after all our testing you find that peace still stands at the gate and nods, then hear me. Let your yes be clean, not jittery, not bargaining, not born of the fear that this is your last chance, but steady, like a hand that has found the right tool, like a heart that has come up from deep water and can breathe again. A God-led yes is sober and bright at the same time. It is joy with a guardrail, eagerness without compulsion, courage that can still sleep. Your conscience is clear, your motives have been washed, your pace is not frantic. You can kneel before you sign, and after you sign, you can still kneel. This is how you will know. The same peace that guided you into the decision will accompany you into the room. Enter as one who is sent, and because I send you, walk with the order that peace loves. Peace is not vague. Peace includes order. Ask questions without shame. Negotiate without fear. Request clarity in writing because what is true is not afraid to be written. Draw the lines that honor what we have already spoken together. Scope of work, reporting lines, hours and location, travel expectations, compensation and review rhythms, boundaries around worship and family commitments, probation periods that protect discernment on both sides. If they bless your clarity, take note. If they punish your orderliness, you have learned something important before the entanglement grows. You do not negotiate to prove your worth. You negotiate to steward your assignment. You do not ask because you are greedy. You ask because you intend to tell the truth about capacity, calling, and covenant. Before you cross the threshold, lay your days in my hands. Choose your rhythms now while your soul is quiet, for it is easier to plant fences before vines grow wild. Keep prayer non-negotiable, scheduled, protected as breath. Keep rest, weekly Sabbath, and nightly stopping points that do not need to apologize for existing. Keep family, meals without screens, presence that is not performative but real, the holy work of listening to those I have entrusted to you. Keep integrity. Speak truth even when silence would be applauded. Do not vow what you cannot faithfully deliver. Deliver what you vow with patience and excellence. Keep innocence of eye and heart. Refuse flattery, flee gossip, decline alliances built on cynicism. Keep gratitude. Let the first words of your morning be thanksgiving, not hurry. Now, as you begin, remember that this workplace is a field and you are a sower. Your emails are not mere transactions. They are opportunities to plant gentleness and clarity. Your meetings can become small altars of patience where you dignify those who have forgotten what dignity feels like. Your consistency is a sermon some hearts have never heard preached. Your kindness is an argument harder to refute than a speech. Your humility under favor and your courage under pressure will testify that you are being led by someone beyond metrics. Do excellent work, not to be seen, but because excellence is love in public. As it is written, whatever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not to men. Colossians 3:23. There will be tests at the very gate of your yes, subtle and swift. A request to start earlier than we agreed that tramples a promise you made to your family. An unspoken expectation to be always available that baptizes burnout as loyalty. a celebratory flattery that invites you to compromise the very boundaries that gave you peace. Answer with holy calm, I am glad to serve with all my heart, and here are the hours we agreed, the practices I keep, the altars I will not abandon. Your no nested inside your yes will protect the work I assign to your life. I am not sending you to be consumed. I am sending you to contribute with joy. Make a plan with me for the first days and the first 90. Pray for 3 graces, favor with those you will serve, wisdom for what you must learn, and courage to say, I do not know yet, instead of pretending. Ask me to reveal traps early and raise up allies whose counsel is clean. Learn names, not just roles. See people as souls, not tools. Arrive early enough to pray over your space. Leave without stealing tomorrow's strength for today's worry. Do not carry what is not yours home each night. Lay the burden at the door of prayer and pick up only what love requires. Steward the small vows that keep peace. A weekly review with me where you confess scope creep and invite correction. A monthly check on whether the guard at the gate is still standing. A quarterly conversation, written if need be, about alignments, assignments, and sustainable pace. Keep short accounts in conflict. Speak truth in love. Escalate appropriately. Never recruit co-laborers for your offense. If asked to shade the truth, refuse. If asked to secure outcomes by compromising purity, decline and bring it into the light. Provision that requires you to betray your purity is not my provision, and I will not leave you alone for choosing holiness. And do not forget to bless. Bless your leaders when you speak of them in rooms they do not occupy. Bless those who oppose you by praying for their good and refusing to curse them with your sarcasm. Bless your own hands before you begin a task. Lord, establish the work of my hands. Psalm 90:17. Bless the interruptions that become divine appointments. Bless the unseen tasks, for heaven sees in secret and rewards in ways a performance review cannot measure. Therefore step in, beloved, with head lifted and pace sane, with joy that is guarded and zeal that is yoked to wisdom. Sign with peace, start with prayer, and walk with the boundaries that keep peace as peace. If pressure rises later and tries to rename your yes into slavery, return to me. We will adjust, we will clarify, we will, if necessary, release. For I did not call you into this to lose you. I called you that you might be a lamp set on a stand, shining without burning out. A true yes is entered with peace and kept with boundaries. Walk in that peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. My beloved child, now come and sit with me once more, not to add more noise to your mind, but to still the waters so the stars can be seen. Before you reply, come back to my voice. One more night with me. One more evening where the pressure is set outside like a coat you refuse to wear to bed. One more holy pause, not as procrastination, but as protection. I am not rushing you, I am leading you. Let the truth of that sentence breathe over you until your shoulders drop. I am not rushing you, I am leading you. Lay the whole journey we have walked upon the table of my presence, and let us review it together, not with suspicion, but with love. Peace first. Does peace still stand at the gate as a watchman, steady and alert, or has anxiety usurped the post and begun to shout? Fruit next. What will this yes make you become, and what will this no preserve in you? Will the decision, over time, cultivate love, joy, patience, humility, integrity? Purity, then. What are you being asked to trade away to pass through this door? Your honesty, your Sabbath, your vows, the innocence of your eyes? Counsel next. What have the wise who know your soul said after praying, not merely after asking you for details? Motive next. Are you choosing this to be seen or to be sent? Does this answer your ache to be chosen by people or your call to obey me? Season last. Is this door for this season? planting, pruning, or passing through? Or are you trying to harvest what I have not yet ripened? Bring each of these like stones to the altar and watch how peace arranges them. Now make our final test a prayer you can breathe, slow and unforced. Father, does this draw me closer to you or distract me from you? Does it clarify my path or thicken the fog? Does it preserve love and integrity in the way I will work and speak, or will it require me to hide what is true? Does it honor the season you have named for me, my family, my body, my worship, my pace, or does it drain what you have told me to protect? Will this make me more honest, more gentle, more courageous, more like your son, or will it reward my fear and punish my faith? Does this invite me into light where things can be written clearly, or into shadows that demand secrecy? What do the wise in my life discern? Not the flattering, not the fearful, but those who love you. Am I saying yes from union with you, or from the fear that this is my last chance? If I wait one more night with you, will peace deepen, or will panic demand to be obeyed? Let your questions be worship. Let them be incense in my courts. As it is written, the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. James 3:17. As it is written, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. That guard is not an idea. It is my gift standing watch. You will recognize my voice not because it shouts, but because when the emotions settle, you are steadier than before. When the options crowd you, a path stays lit. When fear argues its case, truth answers calmly and holds the line. My voice is gentle, but it is consistent. My counsel does not contradict itself or ask you to become smaller in righteousness, to become larger in public. My leading does not demand you to be less true to me, to be more impressive to them. Therefore, beloved, reply from union, not from fear. If you need time, ask for it without apology. Time is not the enemy of truth. Truth is not afraid of time. Say, I will return with a response tomorrow, and then actually return to me tonight. If they punish your need to pray, you have learned something, and you are spared more costly tuition later. If they bless your desire to seek peace, you have learned something also, and trust increases. Not everything has to be answered in the hour it appears. The right yes will wait for peace. The right no will not ruin my purpose. The right wait will not waste what I am weaving. Come now into the night with me. I will counsel you in the night seasons. Even as you sleep, I will steady your inner man. As it is written, I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My heart also instructs me in the night seasons. Psalm 16:7. Lay your phone aside, close the files, still your mouth, place your hand on your heart, and invite me to speak. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening, and sleep. Your rest is a vote of confidence in my shepherding. Morning light will not be empty. It will carry answers in the form of steadiness. If you wake with a heavy knot and a shrinking heart, heed it. If you wake with a measured joy and a calm courage, receive it. I am not a God of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. When you rise, we will answer together. If it is no, we will refuse as worship. If it is yes, we will step in with clean boundaries and a clear face. If it is wait, we will wait without folding into despair, for waiting with me is not wasted time. It is braided strength. As it is written, your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it, whenever you turn to the right hand or whenever you turn to the left. Isaiah 30:21. You will not miss me by moving at the pace of peace. You risk missing me only by bowing to panic. And now receive this blessing as you lay your head down. I am with you. I am the lamp to your feet and the light to your path. You do not need the whole map to take the next faithful step. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. Keep your heart with all diligence, the guard is posted. Keep your eyes on me, the shepherd is near. Keep your pace set by my breath. The yoke is easy, the burden is light. Go into the night without fear. Sleep in the safety of one who neither slumbers nor sleeps over you. Wake to the voice that is faithful to finish what I began in you. Answer only after peace stands guard, because I am not rushing you, I am leading you. Walk in that peace, the peace of one who knows they are being led. And when you speak your answer, let it be the outflow of our quiet, the echo of my voice through your own. Go in peace, beloved. I am with you to the end of the age.